All right, I believe we are recording. It's 3:30. Welcome to, I just looked back at our YouTube playlist, and this is episode 24 of our Tuesday Tech Talks. I can't believe we've done that many, so we'll have to do something special to celebrate 25 next week. I guess that's a significant number in podcasting, maybe, I don't know. So today we originally planned on covering some cool slick things you can do with Google Slides for writing journals and for bell work and stuff like that. And I switched it back to Google Docs for a couple of reasons. One basically is USEC conferences on Saturday, and I've got so many things going on, and I didn't have the bandwidth to try to learn that and try to put something together for it today. And two, because I think we overlook Google Docs. I think it's become just kind of that default go-to, warm blanket, especially for your students, as far as, a word processing tool, a basic tool that I think we take for granted sometimes. And this is a talk I used to do quite a bit with, Chris in the chat says I can sure use a refresher. And actually, Chris, I did add something new for today. So hopefully you will learn a little bit. So again,
that's why I'm here. I always learn something from you, Clint.
I do my best. I try to keep it fresh. But again, Google Docs is kind of that default word processing tool, especially for students. I know a lot of teachers still like to use Microsoft Word. Since we do so much sharing with our jobs, Chris and I hardly ever touch anything other than Google Docs, just because it's so easy to share and collaborate with people. And that's kind of our main focus. So I thought I would kind of come back around to a topic that I used to talk about quite a bit doing Google Classroom trainings. I'd kind of, sneak off a few minutes to try to show some of these things that Google Docs can do that you may not know about or you may have forgotten about. And I think most people don't realize that are there that are huge, nice features and time savers for you. So I won't spend a lot of time in the slides. I do have and I'm going to copy this link here and drop it into the chat. So if you want to make a copy of this document that I'm going to jump into, I've already made a copy of it. And so I'm ready to go. But that link, if you follow that link, I dropped it in the chat, will force a copy of a document I use over and over and over and over again called a media research assignment. It's just kind of a general document that I use to introduce this stuff and to walk people through it. And you're welcome to reuse it, take it, steal it, adapt it, however you want to use it. So I'm actually going to stop my screen share, and I'm just going to share this window right there. Hopefully that's coming through. And whoops, I didn't mean to do that. I need to drag this down so I can see my tabs. Here we go. So is that coming through? Can everyone see that, Kath? Thanks for your nods. I appreciate that. Let me make the text a little bit bigger because we will be using some of the tools on the sides. If you want to just watch and follow along, that's totally fine. If you want to just grab a copy of that document and watch, that's great, because I'll walk through all these questions and kind of show, and please do ask questions as we go along if they come on. Julie, yes, I am recording. I started the recording before we started, so thanks for the reminder. I appreciate that. And this, I'll make sure that this is all in the recording. So first question that I ask is using the Explorer tool. And you may ask, Clint, what is the Explorer tool? Anyone gonna open their mics and ask me that? Because I said you may ask me that. You don't have to, it's okay.
What is the Explorer tool?
Thanks, I love it when people play along. So it's this little thing down here that you may have you've seen maybe lurking there, but have never clicked on. It's also here under Tools and Explore. It used to be called the Research tool back in the day. And again, I need to stop saying what it used to be and just go with what it is now. Nobody cares what it used to be called. But what it is basically it's a Google search bar right inside of your document. And so a lot of times when kids starts researching a topic, or you get into that tab sprawl where you'd have 30 tabs across the top and you can't remember which one's your document and you're clicking around and around and around. This I'm trying to show you some strategies to stay within your document as much as you can, and for your students too, so you don't get lost in all your tabs. So ask a question here. One of the top 5 best-selling Amazon Kindle ebooks for 2021, and make sure to cite your source. And ooh, Clint, I don't remember how to do my MLA or APA formatting and citations, but I'll show you, make it easy. So over here in my search box, I'm going to search for Amazon Kindle bestsellers, and then the date 2021, and just hit enter. And so what it does is it does a little web search of or things of articles and pages on the web, images from the web, or search for things in my Google Drive. Let's look at our web results. So Amazon.com bestsellers of 2021 in books. That looks like that might be the page I want. So if I think that might be something I want to dig a little deeper, if what I'm looking for isn't in this little excerpt, I can actually just click on that and it will open up another tab. But it's just so I can come in and make sure that, you know, I'm looking at the right page or the right, a good source. You know, and I take a look, it's from Amazon.com. We've got their Kindle bestsellers. Oh, that's in books. Never mind. I didn't click ebooks. Let's take a look. So, and that's different than what I looked for before. So, but we are in Kindle ebooks for 2021, and the best digital box, or excuse me, digital book this year is The Shadow Box. Chris, have you read this one? Is this a good one?
I haven't.
Okay, well, it's the #1 bestseller on Amazon. You may want to check it out.
Wow. So
Okay.
those results are the same results that you would just by going out to Google in Explorer?
Let's hope so. Yeah, I think so. Because it is. It should basically, oops, wrong tab. It's just a Google search there in my Amazon Kindle. I didn't bring up Kindle. They're just best. Oh, here we go. Bestsellers Kindle store. Let's see if that one gives me a better result, because I do want to cite my page. This is bestsellers ever in the Kindle store, so I don't want that. But this page looks like a good one for me. So what I'm going to do, whoops, let's see, what is it called? The Shadow Box. So I'm going to put in my answer, and I'm going to call it the Shadow Box. Okay, and I have to cite my source. So now, what all do I have to do to remember to cite my source? Okay, check it out. If I hover over this entry here, see that little quotation box or little button that pops up? It says cite as a footnote. So I click that, and it goes boop. It drops a 1 next to my thing. I'm like, wow, it puts a 1 in there. What's the big deal about that? But if I scroll down, I gotta let somebody in here. I lost my participants. Okay, it puts in a footnote for me of Amazon bestsellers of 2021 in books, and it gives me the link, tells me when I accessed it, and so it properly formats that footnote for me in MLA style, I believe it is. And if I want to change that, where is that at?
I love this feature because so many times we don't think of teaching this citation to younger kids because it's so overwhelming. They don't have to know LMA. All they have to know is tell us where you got it, and this does it.
And it's not Google.
Yeah,
because that's the default answer. You know, Google or Wikipedia is where I got this stuff from. But this actually, you know, links to it. And then you as a teacher, if your students did actually, you know, turn in a document, or if they gave you a piece of paper, you know, if they didn't turn this in virtually, if we weren't using Canvas, would you go in and type in that address to check that source? Probably not. But if you could just click on it and say, hey, here I go, and check out the page, you probably might be more likely to, you know, to check that source. And when I'm in that source, I just close the tab, and then I'm right back into my document. So it really is a nice, cool, time-saving tool for your students. And I'll show that cite your source again here in a minute. So next, using the Explore tool, add an image of the cover of this book or something that represents it. So I'm just going to put in Shadow Box here in my search. And so it brings up web results. And Shadow Box can mean different things. That's something that, you know, crafters do and things like that. If I choose images, there is some, you know, there's no, even if I put in book, see what it shows me. It doesn't bring up any images of the book cover, and that's probably because this brings back results that are licensed for reuse. So it doesn't allow me to put in copyrighted items. All of these things are licensed for students to be able to use in their documents, put in a slideshow, whatever you want. So you don't have to worry about where these items get shared. It's a good time to have that discussion about copyright and fair use and things like that. So it's a nice, safe image search tool. And I won't bring up, whatever off color kind of things you could bring up in a Google, just a straight up Google image search. So I'm going to choose something that kind of looks like a shadow box. This kind of looks like one right there. So that'll preview it. That looks cool. So I'll just click insert. I can also just hover over the image and see the little plus there. I can tap that and it'll put that picture right into my document. Okay, it's a little big, kind of eating the rest of my document. So if I just click on it, drag little handles there on the corners, I can put in my result. It puts it on a new line for some reason. I don't know why. So I just delete those things out of there. It doesn't really cite the source, but it actually does kind of list where that picture came from. So if students are using that, I just click on the image, click on the link that it gives me, and that's the source of that image. So instead of a Google image search, it actually gives me the location of where that image came from, which is important. Questions so far? We're doing okay? Different ways to use the Explore tool. You can also use it to look up things in Drive. I kind of tend to know what's in my Drive, and so I usually go to Drive if I'm searching for it, but it allows me to, if I've been, keeping notes in a document, I can just drop excerpts or whatever from that document into another one. And so one more time, let's get some experience with searching for things using the Explore tool. How many miles of shelves the Library of Congress has? So I'll come in here and I'll just hit enter. And there's a bunch of images. So I need to search or switch back to web results. And this is just general, information about Library of Congress. But now I'm going to put in something more specific, miles of shelves. Let's see what comes up. Let's see, 22,000 items each working day, 10,000 items, adds 10,000 items to the collection each day. That's crazy. 11 facts, 25 coolest things about the Library of Congress right here. It features 883 miles of shelving. So it actually pulls out that exact thing that I'm looking for. I don't even have to open up another tab. And so again, I want to cite my source. So I'll come in here and replace my default answer area with 883 miles of shelves. And how do I cite my source? Kathleen, just hover over it, right? Click the little quote button and it'll put a 2 up there and it'll add that link to the bottom of that page. So very nice little thing. There is another tool that I haven't really explored it too much called citations. And this will actually help me build citations in whatever these other, if I want APA or Chicago, but I can add a citation source and it'll ask me, where did it come from? So if I want to do a journal article, newspaper, a book, and it's accessed by a print website, online database, I can put in contributors and it'll actually help me build a bibliography page for my document. I haven't used it a ton. That might be a more, kind of a serious offline citation adding tool for you, but that quick footnote tool from the Explorer is fantastic. So any other comments, questions on using the Explore tool? Wait time. I love that's a joke now. All right, moving on to seeing nothing in the chat. No one's opened up their mic. All right, next tool, insert image. Search for an image to show the cover of my favorite book. So to find that, I'm going to go to insert image, and then search the web. So up here in the insert menu, I'm just going to delete that. Insert image. And I know a lot of kids have figured out copy paste. I can just copy an image from online and paste it into a document. And that's super quick. But again, you don't know about copyright. You're not citing where it came from, X, Y, Z. But There are a lot of different ways to get images into your document. You can upload them, you can search the web. So again, instead of putting up another tab, go to Google Images, search there, copy it, download it, whatever, add it to my document. You can just stay right inside of your document. You can also access anything from Drive, photos, which are also in Drive, by web address or by camera. So your students do have, webcam on their Chromebooks. So hi, here I am. And so I could use this to submit photos of my work. So if I'm doing something in PE or band, well, band's not a great example, an art project, something in shop, something that isn't written, but I can use it to take a picture of what I've been working on. Let's just show you a picture of my sea dog. There we go. So I can take whatever pictures I want, put my math assignment up there, click insert into the document, and there it is. But that isn't what I was asked for, right? I was asked for a book cover. So insert image, and I'm going to search the web. And again, it opens up the little sidebar over here. And so my favorite book lately is Ready Player One. And again, this is something that might still be under copyright. I'm sure it probably is. You can see pictures from, of people from the show, from the movie, things like that. But there was kind of a one there that would probably work for me. If it's an older book out of copyright, like, Catcher in the Rye, something like that, your results will probably be a little better. It's in a different language. Una película de Steven Spielberg. So it's a movie poster. So this does bring in copyrighted, or can. This is just like a regular Google image search. So it's not bringing in copyright, free materials. But if you just need to find a quick image, and stay inside the document, it's a really nice spot to be in. It doesn't remember where the image came from. I can't click on it and click on the source. It is just, just kind of a copy and paste search. But it's a lot of different ways to use that insert image tool in a document. Okay. Next is the revision history, or the version history. Anyone familiar with that tool before? Okay, this is awesome. So, especially if you're accepting online work, if kids are turning in things with a piece of paper, a dead tree, you can't do any of this with a dead tree. You can find your images and print them out, but if I want to go back and look at a document's history, that's under the File menu. File and Version History. You've got name, current version, or just see the version history. And what it does is it opens up a little timeline of this document, what's happened to it over the last, I created it at 1:30 p.m. today, and then these edits I've made at 3:47, and you can see that it's showing in green that I have deleted this and then added in that text. I've deleted this text, I've added in this picture, and it's tagging it with green. I've added these footnotes as well, okay? And it not only is that most recent version, if I hit this little triangle, it is saving about every time I make a change. So if it's a collaborative document and somebody deleted everything isn't lost. You can always go back in and revert back to an earlier version. If I want this version, where after I've added in a couple of things, but I just barely had done this, I can choose that version, click restore this version, and that would make it the most recent version. It doesn't destroy the document history. It just takes that version and makes it the newest one.
And can I just say how much I love that? In fact, I'm doing that right now, where I've got a spreadsheet that other people did, and it's a hot mess. And
Yep.
this has saved me.
Yeah, I used it today, working on getting ready for the USEC conference. I'm working with somebody else who's running one platform where we're kind of organizing all the sessions, and I'm putting them into our online platform. And so I went back into the document history and I saw, okay, she's added these 5 new sessions, and that's just all I needed to know to go back in and put those into our other platform. So restore this version, or again, I can just keep my current version, and I can see that I had we'll say about 10 different versions. And so the question that I asked was, how many different versions of my document are there? I'll say around 10, around a dozen. Okay. So that's revision history. That's under tools again, file, version history, see version history. I guess I can't call it revision history because that's what Microsoft Word calls it, or Microsoft Office calls it. Okay, so that's version history. Love that one. Translate document. So I know I don't speak Spanish or Swahili or whatever language many of my parents might speak, but there is a translate tool in document. So I could take my newsletter, some information from my class, whatever, and use under tools, choose translate document. And when I do that, it asks me, well, what language do you want? And it's not like, the 6 main, secondary languages. It's, I won't say all of them, but many, many, many languages. Laotian, Macedonian. What should we translate it into today, Chris? Serbian? You're muted. Thai, Turkish, Uzbekistan. Let's do Uzbekistan. Uzbek.
Ooh, Yiddish.
Okay, I won't be able to tell the validity, how good of a translation it is. And there's not somebody that speaks Uzbek waiting for me to put in my document and quickly translating it in person. It's a machine translation. And so it's going to be, probably in the good enough, you can get the point across kind of area. But again, if I don't speak a language and I want to make at least something that's close, I can use this translation tool, and it doesn't change my original document. It makes a translated copy of that document. So it's a brand new document. If you want to have some fun, we don't have time to cover it today, but go and search for Jimmy Fallon translated lyrics or something like that. They take song lyrics and put them into Google Translate and then bring them back to English and then sing the results. And it's kind of funny. So you can tell, that it's not a perfect tool, but again, better than nothing. So I'm just going to move that to the trash. Okay. One of my favorite tools now, voice typing tool. This may not work when you have 30 kids in the same room on a Chromebook. But if you do have students that have trouble getting their words and their ideas down on paper, quote, quote, paper, they can turn on the Google voice typing tool. And let me show you how that works. So I'm going to go tools, voice typing. This used to be a software, that like Dragon Dictation that costs hundreds of dollars and you have to train it for hours to get your voice right. Google has had a tool called Google, it doesn't matter because people don't care what it used to be called. Anyway, it was like directory assistance, and you could call up and say, hey, what's the phone number for this? And they would tell you. And from that, they learned how to translate people's voice really easily. So instead of me talking, I'll just translate. Most people can speak 5 times faster than they can type, exclamation point. So, comma, if you have students that are having troubles with typing and getting their ideas from their brain all the way down to their fingers, comma, have them use the voice typing tool, exclamation point, new paragraph. You can do much of your formatting as you speak, comma, as long as you can get your brain to speak your punctuation marks as you go, exclamation point. Kind of cool. And this you can just turn on. I mean, if you just wanted to have like a transcript of a conversation, you could just open up a document, turn on the tool. It wouldn't, tell you who said what, but it would make at least some kind of a record of the conversation that you had. Or we just stream of consciousness, not just want to, you're tired of typing and giving comments, you can just open this up, speak whatever you want to say, and then copy and paste it wherever you want to use it. So that's the voice typing tool. Again, under the tools menu, you turn it just on and off, and it'll keep going as long as you want to let it. Okay, and the last one, this is the new stuff for Chris, and I've got 5 minutes left. I don't know how this goes on so fast. I've got a couple of optional ones down here, but we won't cover those today. This one is an add-on. And so many of you have probably never, ever looked in this add-on menu. Table of contents is a good one. There are some great add-ons especially if you've ever done any mail merges, where if you have like a spreadsheet of first name, last name, email address, phone number, address kind of stuff, and you want to do form letters, you can set up, there's one called Yet Another Mail Merge that allow you to, do that with email. But this one is quick and easy, word cloud generator. To add it, I went into add-ons and chose get add-ons and search for word cloud generator. There's actually a few of them with that name. I tried this one that says, hey, it works in all these different documents. It's kind of kludgy, but this one that has 4 million views, I've been using it for a couple of years, and it's, or 4 million users, excuse me. It works well enough. It works great. So you just click on it, click the install or individual install. You probably won't have this domain install option, but just install it for yourself. And then once you install it, it lives under this add-on menu. And so I can just go to add-ons and word cloud, and they've got 2 different versions, classic or modern. I'll choose modern. And so it opens up a little sidebar. It generates a word cloud from this document. And then I'm going to put my word cloud in right here.
That is cool because it's already got all the words in it. So think if a kid did a story or something, it would pull the words from the document.
Yep.
Awesome.
Yep. It'll do, or just to try to, take a bunch of text and try to get like the main themes from it. So they're doing research, find an online document or an online, whatever, and it'll pull in. And I'd like to make it a little bit bigger. I didn't choose the big version, but this is you can download it and put it onto Canvas as a header. You could rotate it around, but just a quick, easy way to make a word cloud. I've used this with Google Forms to have students just kind of brainstorm some ideas. I copy and paste it into a Google document so I can use this tool, but then it's just a quick way to generate something that's visually interesting and brings out, some of the themes of that document. So that's a fun one. Word cloud generator add-on. So that's 357. Again, Google Keep is another great one. And I actually put this on the idea list for things to spend 30 minutes on. Could easily spend 30 minutes on Google Keep. This is probably the best tool that's been around in Google that no one uses very much. Great for, keeping notes and researching and things like that. And then I know most of you probably aren't using Classroom too much, but there's a link here that's an extension called Share to Classroom that allows you to send links and all kinds of stuff straight to Classroom without copying, pasting, all that kind of stuff. So that's my media research assignment, showing you some Google Docs superpowers. If you want to use it yourself and you've been following along, you can just come back here to version history, see version history, revert it all the way back to where you opened it up. And then you'll have the original version to modify, use with your students, whatever you want to do. I also want to get back to my slides. I'm going to get out of this.
While you're doing that, Clint, did you also link the football one? Because Clint made these. I've used these a ton of times when I teach research. Okay. Okay.
No, you're fine. So
great minds think alike.
Yep. So I usually teach this at the beginning of the year. So I made one for football and one that are Christmas and football themed. Feel free to take this idea and reuse it, modify it however you want. But take those templates and use them with your classes. Open for questions. I'll put the links to the role and our archive. Next week, we will be talking about Utah's online library. I don't think we'll change that one up.
Me again?
Yeah, I'll be here. We can split it up and we can tag team. So that's the upcoming schedule. And let me put these links in here for you. Let's see. I'll just drop all these links into the chat. Liesl, you're welcome. I'm glad you're here today. Let's see. Yep. And then I will send out the links. Once you sign up for the role, make sure you follow that TTT role form link. That will let you sign the role for the course. And then that way I will know to send you the recording of this. If you want the recording, and just make sure you sign up, and I'll send that out when I give you the Midas credit. So make sure you follow that, copy and paste those. I'll also put all these links into the the Midas course as well. So you have all those to refer back to. So I will stop my share. I will open it up for any questions or comments, or feel free to open up your mics.
Well, I'm glad I tuned in because I love that word cloud. I can see so many uses for that. Just getting kids brainstorming different descriptive words or all sorts of things and make it fun. I love it.
Good deal. Anything else? My camera zoomed in. When I went to use the Google Doc camera, it changed the resolution on my Zoom camera, so my hair is being cut off. All right, I'll stop the recording.